NHL picks and predictions for Tuesday, April 21st. Welcome into PuckTime, WagerTalk TV. We got a handful of great games to get to. We've got some game twos to talk about in the NHL for tonight. Yesterday, it was a 1-1-1 day for me. One win, one loss, and one push. The win was plus money, so we do eke out a little bit of profit there. We'll move on to today, though, and get the job done on $5 Tuesday. So look forward to getting a little $5 winner, hopefully. Anybody at WagerTalk has a play up and available for just $5. That includes my co-host, Carmine Bianco. That includes our guest coming up, Brian Leonard. And, of course, I'll make this very clear because there's been some misinterpretation, I'll say, on my wording. That is $5 each and not $5 for all of our plays. $5 each for those plays. Anyway, Carm, another crazy night in the NHL last night. Hats off to you for talking up that Flyers spot. Hey, if they can win game one, why can't they win game two? Dallas Stars, they bounce back. Edmonton Oilers, they win game one. Just a crazy night of hockey. And what else do we expect?
Yeah, I loved it. I loved it because I went 2-0 in the NHL. So I'm always happy with that. But we're seeing some fantastic hockey in this first round. I hate to think of what the second round is going to look like, just because the first round has been it's been great. We're seeing some teams even it up, but we're seeing teams that in series where you look at the Carolina and Ottawa, they're up 2-0 in the series. And I get it, Andrew, you never lose a series until you lose on home ice. But I'm telling you, Ottawa is in this series still, even down 2-0. That's been a good one. Minnesota, a little disappointed. I thought a better third period and they have a chance to win. But, man, we're talking Montreal and Tampa, Utah, Vegas, Boston, and Buffalo. Brian Leonard is going to come in. He's going to do the Utah and Vegas one for us because he's always got his finger on the pulse of what is going on in Vegas. Andrew, the Montreal Canadiens. Why are you looking ahead so stoically, like a deer in headlights? The Montreal Canadiens, Andrew. Let's get it up on the screen there.
I'm ready to rock.
All right, you're rocking. Plus 160, minus 192 with Tampa Bay. Andrew, I'm going to keep this one short and simple for me and for you guys out there, which is I said Canadians were going into this series disrespected by the series price, which is now much lower. And they've won game one as a big underdog. Why can't they win game two? Everyone keeps waiting for teams like Montreal, Buffalo, teams that haven't been there to take a misstep. They haven't yet. So, Andrew, plus 160, Montreal Canadiens. I'm going back to the well and looking for a team to win 2 games on the road to start the playoffs. So there you go.
Hey, look, Carm, the Philadelphia Flyers did it. Why can't the Montreal Canadiens do it as well? Look, when you talk about being on the road and, the goal for most teams, obviously, is to get the split. That's the minimum goal. But now when you win game one, there's an opportunity to steal both games on the road. And I'll tell you what, this Tampa Bay Lightning team has been really, really bad, actually, their last 10 games in the playoffs at home. And I'll tell you somebody else who has not been very good in the playoffs over the last few seasons. And that has been Andrei Vasilevsky. He has not been top-notch himself. So, it's hard for me to really say this, but Jakub Dobiš actually won the goaltending battle against Andrei Vasilevsky there. Obviously, there's one thing we have to mention. The game was dominated by specialty teams. Tampa Bay Lightning and the Montreal Canadiens scoring on the power play. The game was filled with a lot of play that took place on the special teams. So we'll see if this game has players be more disciplined, more 5-on-5 play, more open ice. Very, very curious about that one. But Carm, going into the Oilers game yesterday, the last game of the night, the first period under was 9-1. 9-1.
Yeah.
But a lot of the time, I'm telling you, and for what it's worth, Freddie, I had the first period over in that Ottawa game, but when you look at that series, you've got Freddie Anderson playing out of his mind, Allmark playing out of his mind. Both those goalies in the playoffs have 4.2 or 4.3 goals saved above expected. But games 2, I expect things to be a little different totals wise than game 1. And although there ended up being some goals in the Habs and Lightning game in game 1, there wasn't much early on. So over 1.5 goals, I think, is tempting for me. And as much as it pains me to say it, I think you can get Lightning first period at a pretty respectable number there. But I think that's the move, is over 1.5. I think that both teams come out flying. I think the energy is going to be there. And I think when you get the desperation angle from the home team, they're going to have to come out and bring that heat. They're not in the position anymore, Carm, where they can have the Canadians have to press everything. Now it's almost like the pressure flips to the Tampa Bay Lightning. So I kind of like that over 1.5 there. I do not have props for this game in my prop segment, but I'm going to mention one thing to you. Cole Caulfield got 0 shots in game 1, and they still won the game. Obviously, last change is very important, Carm. Do you think he bounces back?
I think he has. I think he contributed in other ways, and that's all you can ask from a player. That's why they don't come out even in a winning effort and say, "I've got to be better." No, they normally do that when they lose, but contributing offensively, sure, absolutely. It's sometimes it's the ebbs and flows, right? And then there's times where Andrew, if they're matching lines, and Tampa's going to do the exact same thing tonight with matching lines. It could be he's just doing what he needs to do to make sure that his line isn't on the ice for goals against. So we've seen offensive players take defensive roles in the past, something that works because the team buys in and they just keep playing. But I get it. Everyone is lightning. They got to even the series. No, they don't. It is the same as the Pittsburgh one yesterday. Philly played so well in that game. And Montreal played well, got the OT winner this time. 192 is too much. If you like Tampa Bay and you think they're going to win this series, they were minus 270 to win this series or something like that, if I remember correctly. They're now minus 120, Andrew. So the Montreal Canadiens, who, I said, take them at plus 205. And then if you get the right result in game 1, you can get out of the bet. You can get out of the bet now and make a profit if you wanted to. But if I was holding plus 240, I'd still continue to hold it. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so as well. I think, look, the Montreal Canadiens showcased their speed. The one thing that was, and it's such a great point by you, Carm, and I know a lot of people are here for picks and not just hockey talk, but a very good point by you. Sometimes, especially when you're on the road and you have that last change, they're going to have those tough matchups. So then the top line is going to end up being just the defensive guys. It's like, okay, if we're not going to score, then you guys can't score either. And it's like top line against top line is what it ends up being like. So then you need the secondary guys to score. Like, who I think the top playoff performer is for the Canadians? Josh Anderson. That guy makes like $5 million a year. Nobody in the Habs fan base cares what he does during the regular season. He is a guy that's built for the playoffs. He's a human wrecking machine. He's physical. He scores those tight goals. That's what you kind of like for him. Let me ask you this, Carmen. I know we got to move on, but would you make changes to the lineup for the Montreal Canadiens off a loss or off a win? Because I'm a diehard fan. I want Gallagher in there. I thought Bolduc didn't do enough. I don't know if Texier did enough. I'm not comfortable if I'm Montreal. To your point, why can't they win both games? But I still think there needs to be some changes made. Hal says, do you like Newhook again? To me, yeah, he I think he only had one shot maybe, but he had a ton of chances. I would look towards him again, Hal, just because I think that they're going to have more production from that second line. To your point of does Montreal make changes? I think it would be
a flat no to me. I don't think you make the changes off of a win unless there's something injury related. I do think that that they continue with changes that they made in game one, and that carries over to game two, and I don't consider that a change. So, if they shuffled the second and third lines, and now they start with that shuffled second and third lines, is that making changes? No, it's not. It's stuff that you did in game one that helped you come back, helped you win that game, and you work on specialty teams, which I think is going to be big in the playoffs. When you're seeing penalty killing right now is ruling as far as that goes. There's not a lot of power plays thus far in the NHL playoffs. So, and there's some teams 1-34, 0-26. The Sabres, I think it is. No, it's crazy because when they tell you that a team like the Colorado Avalanche, Andrew, that has McInnis, McInnis, what's his name? The wealth of players on that team. How do you not score in the power play with those guys? Cale Makar, how do you not score with them? So Landeskog, how do you not score with these guys on the power play? Explain that to me.
I almost think they're too passive. I think they wait too much to shoot. They wait too long. They're looking for that perfect play. There's so much talent out there that they look for the perfect play to make. Carm, I do have a prop in that game for us to break down towards the end of the show. But yeah, look, I couldn't agree more with you on this one. Look, a lot of people are going to like the bounce back theory for Tampa. There's not going to be as many penalties. I think both teams will settle in here. But over 1.5 for me in the first period. Carm saying, hey, look, why can't they go up 2-0? That's music to my ears. Willie Nylander. Wow, William Nylander is in our live chat right now. Yeah. He says Darren Radish shots on goal ladder. I do think that's a pretty good idea just because no Hedman and Dastu is now injured. So he's going to have to be in all the offensive zone opportunities, Darren Radish. So good stuff there with that one. But Carm, let me ask you this. Before game 2 happens, I'm just curious, what's the money line price on game 3 in Montreal? Both teams finished with the same odds. And, I thought it was ridiculous, the series price number. But what are the odds at home? Because as I say all the time on the show, there's a difference between home ice for Montreal and a home ice for some other teams. And as well as I do, home ice advantage counts in Montreal.
Minimum with this series tied at 1, let's say, going back there, Montreal minus 135 and the Tampa Bay Lightning plus 115.
Okay.
Somewhere in that one, if we're going with the 20-cent line, that's where that one's going to sit. So take that for what it's worth.
Montreal goes up 2-0?
Montreal goes up 2-0. Not much difference in it. I think the minus 135 actually would be a little bit lower at 125, 130, with the thought process being game 3 is all in or nothing for Tampa Bay. They can't go down 3-0. So there you go. There we go. There's always a job for me somewhere in Vegas as a line maker, but nobody would know better than dun-dun-dun. Brian Leonard is in the house.
What's up, Brian?
Of this Three Musketeers trio. One of my favorite chocolate bars, by the way, of all time. Three Musketeers.
How are you doing, Brian?
I'm doing well. By the way, if you just watched the baseball show a couple hours ago, I was talking about the line service being down. It's now back up. So I didn't realize how important a line service is to me on what I want to do until it drops off. And we've got the Odds Logic site is back up, and I'm excited for that. So now I could start adding some more plays to my card today. And excited for another terrific day.
Yeah, and Andrew, and for you guys that don't know, after this is through, Brian has to go through the 48-hour quarantine at the airport. No, just kidding, Brian. I have not alerted them to you coming. Brian's coming north of the border. Yes, he is coming north of the border. Absolutely love it. We are going to catch a basketball game, whether it's at the arena. Cleveland is playing the Raptors. And it's a shame because Andrew's the guy he's a basketball lover. You would think he would come, but he's so stoic today. Like he's just staring straight ahead. I think he's trying
staring into your soul.
It's burning.
He's got a vacation on deck. He's got that dream in his head, like get the show over with.
Yeah, that's why I'm stretching.
I'm thinking about red wine, like Bob Marley. I'm just playing that song in my head.
That's not Bob Marley. That's UB40.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Andrew, much like Italians, okay, we got to get to this game. Much like Italians don't put pineapple on a pizza, do not put fruit in a glass of wine so you can mix in with the locals drinking sangria. Okay, dude, wine must be had the way it comes out of the bottle or box for some people.
Rich is right.
Anyways,
Andrew has a timer to puck drop. I'll tell you what, guys, I absolutely love playoff time because it means it's getting warmer here. It's springtime. It's nicer out longer. But there's a weird time between, I would say, 6 and 8 p.m. Yes, the weird time zone I have. The game started at 8. So between those 2 hours, I don't know what the hell to do with myself. Like during the day, I'm working. I'm editing videos. I'm doing my write-ups. I'm researching. But from like 5 till 8, I'm sitting around like, what the hell do I do? So what did I do on Saturday? I went and bought 2 tennis rackets and tennis balls, and I've never really been a tennis guy. And my girlfriend and I took up tennis. So now every day at like 5:30, we're going to play tennis for like an hour and a half until the games start. So I'm not just sitting there like a madman staring at the TV waiting for these games to begin because I mean, look, it's 11:17 a.m. I can't wait for the Habs game already. And Brian's got to wait hours for the Vegas game.
Speaking of waiting for the Vegas game, we're going to know the results, but by the time this show is over, sorry, that's my fault. I am talking way too much. Andrew, take it away.
Oh, Brian, you take it away.
All right. That's funny.
Vegas Golden Knights. There you go.
When we do the television show or the baseball show, it's 10 p.m. in Japan, and I said, no wonder Tokyo Brand's got such a good record. The games are over by the time you play. But yes, Utah and Vegas, and to be truthful, I had Vegas in the first game under 3.5 goals. It's looking pretty good after 2 periods when they had one. That damn empty netter killed me at the end. But hey, that's part of hockey, and you've got to incorporate that in your handicapping. I have not been, unlike a lot of people in this city, I have not been so enamored with the Vegas team because they really have not played anybody of substantial reason to get ready for them at the end of the regular season. They played Colorado, but yes, Colorado had already locked up the number 1 seed. So I had some concerns. They played a lot of weaker teams. Now, when they came out in game 1, they shocked me. So I'm sure they shocked Utah in that regard because Vegas is a finesse team. They have not been a hard-hitting team. They don't do a lot of checking. They had 51 hits in game 1 against the Utah Mammoth, and I'm sure the Utah coaching staff did not anticipate that. So I expect this to be another slugfest. There was a lot of, it's playoff hockey. You don't know what you're going to get. Everybody's throwing punches and the whole bit after every whistle. But I think Utah will be more prepared. They had not had a playoff game. Obviously, it was the same team that's in Arizona, but they didn't have the experience that Vegas has. Vegas has gone deep in the playoffs many times in their short history. They've got a lot of veterans on this team. They took advantage of that in the first game, and they come away with a win. I think Utah gives them a tough game here. I think Utah now sees, okay, we're going to have to be a little bit more aggressive. The players have even talked about that. They were kind of surprised at how aggressive it was. It's playoff hockey. So I think we get a better deal out of Utah here. Is it enough for me to want to back Utah? I don't know at this point. If we can get maybe 5 or 10 cents more, I'll be on Utah. But at 130, it doesn't seem to be enough for me to want to back it. I still think it'll be a lower scoring game. Vegas just doesn't want to make the mistakes, and they've got, their goaltender has been terrific. So I wouldn't have any problem with Vegas under their team total again. Probably won't go back and visit it, but I think Utah is going to be in this game and can take it all the way. And as I said before the playoffs started, erase all those games in which teams went to overtime, teams went to the shootouts, because the rules are different now. And Vegas, that was their problem. Pittsburgh, that was their problem. Well, Pittsburgh's problem is they don't have any experience, and the open ice they saw in the regular season does not work out well in the playoffs, and we've seen that already. And, Philadelphia's put themselves in a good spot there. But in tonight's game, slight lean with Utah, slight lean with the Vegas goals on under. Don't know if I'll get there with these current numbers.
Brian, I like those team totals, and I had to move from I was upset about my Carolina over 3.5 in their dominant game one win to lose my big play yesterday. I had the Minnesota under 2.5. I feel like my love for the team total overs is almost going to shift to the team total unders for the postseason for whichever team I like their opponent. But we got the guys in the comments section talking about kind of some threats that were made from Vegas players to Utah players and Utah players to Vegas player. A lot of smack talk on the ice, a lot of after the whistle stuff, as you mentioned. So my question for you is, when you look at this game as a whole, do you have to handicap the power plays? Do you have to handicap the disciplinary for both teams? Because, obviously you got the younger team versus the older team, but do you worry at all with Utah getting out of hand, or do you worry with Vegas as well, disciplinary? Is that something that we have to handicap in our playoffs betting right now?
You really do. You have to pay attention to that, because a lot of guys will try to get under each other's skin. We know who it is in this league that does that. And people just can't wait to get the chance to see them going down the ice and just give it to them, that kind of thing. But you also have to have the discipline in order to do that. And that's the coaching staff has to say, okay, I know you want to come back and you want to do this or do that, but it puts yourself in a bad position. There seems like Philadelphia has no power play at all in their games. So they know it doesn't help them at all to go on the power play, because they suck in the power play. Other teams are very good in the power play. Edmonton, we see it all the time. Nobody wants to follow Edmonton, because Edmonton gets that power play going. And there's certain teams in this league that are just so good in that regard. So you just got to have a disciplined team. It all depends on who you're playing and how you're going to play that game. And that's the thing with the playoffs being 7 games, up to 7 games. As it goes on, you see how these teams play. So you may find more open ice early. That you won't see that if it's a tightly contested game going into game 5, 6, and 7. Those teams know each other very well. It's all on whoever catches the break, blocks the shot and gets the open ended on the other end. So the teams know.
If I'm you, Brian, if I like Utah tonight, although you're a Vegas guy, I'm thinking I saw a highlight reel of hits. Like my buddy, he cheers for Utah. He sent me a highlight reel hits for Vegas against Utah players. And you're just thinking, okay, hopefully Vegas can go over the line, cross the line a few times, and give Utah power plays. I think that would be helpful for them.
It definitely could. And, with Vegas, as I said, they're not used to doing this. So, and they talked about that afterwards. You get a couple guys that hit, but they had guys hitting all the time. It was a real fun game, and it was a fun game to watch, and Vegas just pulled away late.
Yeah, Brian, I'm like you as far as I lean Utah on this one. I think they can get the win and even this series up. It doesn't mean that they're better than Vegas. I just think the way game 1 unfolded, that you could see a Utah team that wins game 2. You're not a props guy, but would you, when you lean on one team, you figure Utah's going to have to score a few goals to win this game? Do you ever start looking at goal scoring props? Because I'm looking at Utah, and I like Utah, but I also like JJ Peterka to score a goal, and he's like plus 450. I'm like, do I take it? Do I rain on Andrew's parade?
Yeah, I'm not the prop guy. Every once in a while, I'll come up with something, and I do really well on them. But it's something that pops into my head while I'm handicapping the games. And, I've done really well on them, but it's not something that I just go out to try to to try to bet them.
Well, look, when you look at this game, I think it's the big guys have to be the big guys. That's the thing with Utah. It's like I think that Vegas has more depth. That's just plain and simple. Vegas has more guys that can score. If you told me that Mark Stone left the game today because his wife had a baby in the middle of the game, they could still win. If you told me that Dylan Guenther left the game in the middle of the game, I don't know if Utah's winning. I think that's the big thing. When you talk about the big boys have to be the big boys, it's much, much more important, I think, for Utah. When we talk about having that last change and how effective that can be. I'm going to be watching out for it. Brian, I'm happy you brought it up, the physicality. And I'll tell you what, guys, that was something I wanted to mention when it came to this game was that just can Vegas be physical in this game tonight without ripping someone's head off and taking a penalty? Because that's going to be a huge factor in it. But if you want props, Carm, a lot of shots actually in this series. So a lot of other series, the game ones didn't have many shots, but these two teams were firing shots left and right.
Yeah, the over, 6. So it was a push. But like I said on yesterday's show, pretty much anyone who picked it up on Sunday won because it was 5.5 everywhere. So so be it. But what I did see in that game, Andrew, is a lot of neutral zone play. It kind of felt like, Brian, like an Edmonton game where I'm watching some Vegas guys just skate through the neutral zone with and vice versa, Mammoth players, and there's nobody allowed in the neutral zone. So these guys it looked like a 5-on-4 power play every time any team entered the other team's O zone, and if that equals shots, then it equals shot props and maybe some goals. So Andrew, I'm going to follow you on shot props. So hopefully I have some at the end of the show for us. But Brian, $5 Tuesdays over at WagerTalk. What do you have up for customers?
Yeah, right now I've got 2 baseball. I'll have another one up. I'm still working on those. Right now for $5, I've got my top baseball play and my top hockey play up there. So you can get both of them for $10. We also have all those other great specials going on. You buy 3 days, you get 3 for free. A lot of terrific things out there. And obviously the playoffs are here. Hockey, NBA, good time of year for me, good time of year for my clients. So let's get some, let's sweep the board today. What do you say, guys?
That sounds like an excellent idea, Brian. Sweep the board. Every show should be like that. We should have like
sounds pretty easy, Brian, to me. You make that sound easy.
All you got to do is win the first one, and then you're on your way.
Yeah. That's what my buddy says about Baccarat. And then we're taking a third mortgage out on houses, cars, vehicles. Just got to win the first one. So, Brian, with that said, I have a thing I now do when I go to Vegas. If my first bet wins, I just go out and grab a bite to eat, or I don't bet right away again, because when you win your first one, it's sometimes the trip can take
all downhill from there is what you're trying to say.
Yeah,
you feel like you're invincible.
Yeah, invincible. Exactly. What was the guy's name? Invincible? Joe.
For the Eagles?
Eagles, yes.
Where the hell is Dan when we need him?
I know, Joe Piscopone.
It was an Italian guy, Vitali or something like that.
Yeah, come on, one of you Italians in the chat, tell us who it was. Brian, thanks, man, for coming on. I look forward to seeing you on Thursday. Yeah. Thursday, you're in town when the Raptors absolutely demolish your Cleveland Cavaliers.
It can happen.
The Buffalo Bills beat up in summer camp with the Cleveland Browns. But your Guardians will win on Saturday when we're at the game.
We will see. You got Gaussman on the hill, so he's a pretty good pitcher.
Yeah.
Enjoy, Brian. Safe travels.
Good luck to you.
Later. And
Carmine, I know it's
Gaussman strikeout. Gaussman strikeout.
Yeah, take Gaussman strikeout. Man, I'll tell you, I know it's a hockey show here, but you mentioned Toronto. There's nothing worse than when a player calls out his own team or his own coach, and then he ends up playing like shit in the next game. Brandon Ingram, he says, no, this team is not going to win any games when I only take 9 shots. Then he takes like 18 shots the next game, and he plays horrible. Like, If you're going to call out your team, you better be that leader and be the better guy. They're asking Scotty Barnes to be the best offensive player and the best defensive player. It's just not going to happen, Carm. You know what's not going to happen? The Buffalo Sabres aren't going to win games if they keep going down 0-2. But the market is telling us, Carm, that based on the series price right now and on the number of this game, people think the Boston Bruins had their chance in game one. What do you think? Can this be an option where Buffalo says, hey, look, we almost lost game one. There's no chance we're going to risk it here in game two?
I don't think this is one of those Prez talks about zigzag games and stuff. It's definitely not for me. The Bruins, that was their game to win. Swayman played absolutely phenomenal in goal. You want to win the first game. What does it do to your team's mindset that you not only coughed up a lead, but you coughed it up in the third period of a game, and you should have stole it. Ottawa Senators played extremely well in game one, but they also played well in game two against Carolina. So last night, it looked like they had momentum when they tied it up 2-2. The Bruins just want to win a game. They came here looking to win one of two games and take over home ice. They failed to do it in game one. They're going to try and do it in game two. The only problem I have with that is the Sabres were going through the motions of opening 40 minutes of that game, even though the crowd was absolutely it was loud. It was Andrew. It was absolutely fantastic to be watching that game. They kept the Sabres in that game, the fans, by cheering because the Sabres were out of it. But the Bruins dominated the first 40 minutes. And I think it's not been in the playoffs for 14 years. Every single fan in there wants a win. The players want to win for their fan base. And luckily it did. I expect the third period Sabres to show up in the first period today and replicate that over 3 periods. Sabres are the better team. They're better than Boston. They should be up 2-0 by the time this hits. What is it? What do they call it there now? TD Garden in Boston. The Garden.
Well, look, this is the thing is that
Vince Papal, there we go.
Anybody that has been a Bruins guy that's talked smack about Bruins goaltending, it doesn't make a single lick of sense to me. Tuukka Rask was good. Jeremy Swayman's been good. Allmark was good for them. Tim Thomas was good for them. It's never been the goaltending, all right? Like, this guy was unbelievable the last 5 or 6 playoff starts he's made. It has a lead 2-0, and the defense just makes horrible plays. Like, I'm sure, Carm, you obviously watched the game. I mean, I just could not believe it. Those goals were not on him whatsoever. I think he let the team have a chance to win. So for me, I'm going to go with the Bruins first period here. I think we're going to get the best effort we can out of Swayman. I wouldn't talk anybody out of the first period under 1.5 again. The trend is still rolling strong, and I just believe this Bruins team, it's got to be under for them. Like how they played the last game, even though they didn't win it, how they played the last game is probably how they have to play every game in order to have a chance, especially when they're on the road. Comment coming in from Nicholas saying Swayman over 25.5 saves. I like a few goalie props, and I got to say that's probably one of them that I'm going to like as well, because they're going to need Swayman. Like this is a goaltender's game. If you like the Bruins in any way, shape, or form, you don't bet on their offensive player props. You bet on their goaltender player props.
Yeah, listen, I agree with you. Now, that was the question I was going to throw at you. If you're taking the thought process, which seems that you did, that the Sabres are going to take a lot of shots, excuse me, because they only had 9, I think was through a couple of periods. So it changed the game plan to what they did in the third period. Fire as many pucks as you can towards Swayman. And obviously you hope a couple of those get through, but the more pucks on net, the better. We're seeing teams with 17 shots on goal. You're not going to win a lot of games, Andrew, 17 shots on goal. And I think the Sabres know that they got lucky in game one You don't want to give the Bruins a chance to get lucky in game 2. So just keep firing that puck at Swayman. Would you look at shot props? Because the one I gave out in the Bruins game, game 1, the only play I gave out in that game was Pasta over 3.5 shots on goal.
Yeah.
And I figure they lost game 1, but he scored the final goal, which was also his 4th shot on goal. So got a little lucky there. But what would you do, Andrew, as far as shots
like I
on
said,
goal props?
I think the goalie prop is the move there for Boston. I think as far as the Buffalo Sabres are concerned, you got to look towards guys like Jack Quinn, maybe Josh Doan, those guys to continue to play super well. Tage Thompson, you know what might be a sneaky player prop here, Carm? Tage Thompson assist. When we think about Tage Thompson, we think about him as such a great goal scorer, but he can pass the puck as well, man. So maybe a Tage Thompson assist there. For the Bruins, the problem is they're so top heavy, man. Like Geeky, Pasternak, and then after that, your guess is as good as mine. Who ends up being the guy for them?
It's Andrew. I'm gonna get a shirt, PuckTime, and then a season like no other. Because I keep saying that same thing, a season like no other. The playoffs have been just goalie. It's just goalies. They're playing extremely well. The players haven't forgotten how to score or get shots on goal. But you look at Swayman, very good game. You look at Ukko Pekka Luukkonen, very good game for them. You look at Linus Ullmark, he's 0-2, and on a team that could score goals, he might be 2-0. He's playing phenomenal for Ottawa. Freddie Anderson, did you expect Freddie Anderson to be playoff Freddie like he is thus far?
Oh, it's been crazy. I mean, I'm shocked at what I've seen here. Goals saved above expected right now. Goals saved above expected leaders. Allmark with 4.2. Freddie Anderson with, I think, 4.3. So it's just unbelievable. You know who the worst goalies have been so far? And this shocked everybody because we thought these guys were going to be some of the best. Jake Ottinger and Jesper Wallstedt have been 2 worst goalies we've seen. So Dustel was okay, but when you look across the board right now, Dobish okay, Vasilevsky okay, but yeah, I mean, let's go to my player prop here, Carm, because I've got one guy I think that's going to have to stand on his head. We talk about goalie save props. I think this is one that I like quite a bit here. Colorado, they won game 1 over LA, but they won it in not so exciting fashion, kind of low scoring, more boring. The shots are going to be there tonight for the Colorado Avalanche. So we're going to rock with Anton Forsberg over 27.5 saves. This is a bit higher than 23, 24, some of these other goalie save props we see, but the market is expecting to see a ton of shots from Colorado. The top players perform well. We didn't even see a big game out of McKinnon, out of Natchez, out of Kadri, and all these great players. And I think it's going to be real tough for LA because, Carm, I think LA played one of the best defensive games they're going to play the entire series, and they lost the game still. So this is one I can get behind. This is a client play for me. Anton Forsberg over 27.5 saves for the LA Kings. I think realistically, too, if anybody even likes the LA Kings at all, or even if you don't, I think the cool thing is this play works if you like the Avalanche or if you like the Kings. Because if you like the Avalanche, they're going to get lots of shots. If you like the Kings, Forsberg's going to have to make 28, 29 saves probably to win them the game.
I'm with you on that. Andrew, there's teams, and I like your point of playing quite possibly their best defensive game. Is teams that haven't consistently done that throughout the season. I see them doing it once, and it kind of sort of reverts back to what the team was during the regular season. Ottawa, we knew they were going to play Carolina tough, and they've turned it into a dogfight, even though it's 2-0 in games. But they're a good defensive team. Some of these teams are surprising me, and then we're getting goals in the games that we think we're supposed to get goals in. I think for the most part, even with some away teams winning game one, that the NHL, at least up until this point, exciting hockey, but I think a square better should be up money thus far.
Yeah. Yeah. And a comment here from Rich. This is kind of interesting here, Carm. He says, was game one a bit of a dud because it was starting the series with a day game? And, this is something that people talk more about in baseball. But, players are creatures of habit. And I'm sure the players are kind of pissed off when they play the whole season at, 8 p.m., 7 p.m., 6 p.m. local time. And then all of a sudden they're like, hey, you got to play, in the afternoon. So maybe a good point by Rich here, Carm.
I see it, but these guys have played at all hours of the thing. I know they're in routines now and what have you, but I also think that there's like 3 or 4 off days before they played that game. So you could look at it, and do you blame it on like the rest versus rust kind of thing, a rest and rust thing? So we'll see in game 2, Andrew. I don't think the start time hindered them that much. I think these guys were itching to get on the ice, and whether it was at noon Pacific or 3 Pacific, or if it was 9 a.m. in the morning, these guys want to be on that ice and playing hockey. Speaking of wanting to be on that ice, Andrew, my pod play wants to put a lot of pucks on ice tonight. So we're going to go with this game. Yes, Tampa Bay and Montreal over 5.5, minus 130. That's over at DK where I play them. We're at 78.58, and we hit the 8,000 barrier with this win here. For Andrew's sake, we'll go 4-2 Montreal, empty netter from Cole Caulfield, and that hits us there. I would also take Tampa Bay 6-0 final, as long as all the goals were in the first period. That is your pod play for today.
Pod play over. All right, Carm.
I'm all over the place on that.
I got to cheer for you to get goals, but I also got to cheer for my team. It's a tough task, man. It's a tough task for me. Look, $5 Tuesday, rare NBA play for me. We're locked and loaded NBA action. NHL looks like 2 plays for tonight. We'll let you guys know on Twitter if we have anything else going towards the card here. That over 27.5 saves prop will be a client play for me. Anton Forsberg over his number. And guys, every single play up and available is $5. Carm, let's not forget about that BOGO PuckTime special. If anybody wants our stuff, get 6 days for a great deal. 3 days, both of our hockey plays all together. So playoff time, rock with our client plays, get our best bets. Carm's off a 2-0 day, 1-1 day for me, but we hit a plus money winner. Those are nice. And I'm trying to keep a lot of these plays for me plus money. That way, if you get the split, you still make some money. Carm, what about you, man? What do you have going tonight? Close it out for us.
No soccer for this afternoon, but I will have some up for tomorrow, and until midnight tonight, you can get it for $5. That'll be up in the next 2 hours because the lines are starting to populate across the board at books. One play up in the NHL. It is a best bet 2-0 day yesterday. 1.4% play up for tonight. You'll find it over at WagerTalk for only $5 at wt.buzz/CB. Guys, for myself, Andrew McInnis, and our guest Brian Leonard today, this is PuckTime. Hope you guys had have a great night of sports betting.